I've been on, aye. Aye, about 7:05. No, well, it's just Newcastle tapping now. We're kicking off now. I've been on, aye. Yeah, keep us in with the scores, Gabby. 3 games on, I think.
Brighton versus Aston Villa, Ipswich versus Chelsea, and Newcastle versus Manchester United.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even a bit better than yesterday after listening to the match.
Well, we didn't score the goals, did we? It's as simple as that. You must admit, Cabbie, we should have won that game handsomely. Aye, but a different class of team, though, wasn't it? I mean, Stoke were terrible. Like, if we'd scored first early on, we would have beat them 3 or 4 comfortably.
Yeah. Like, for me, I cannot understand how Miyenda is not putting clear-cut chances away. Like that header yesterday. It was clear and goal.
Oh, the kid's on his arse like I'll be very surprised if he's playing on Wednesday night. All right.
Got to. Yeah, we are. You should be able to hear me. Sorry about that, folks. Like I said, I've just moved my stuff back into the studio now, so you should be able to hear me now. But thanks for letting us know. Cheers, Jim, and cheers for that. Can't hear you. Just give us a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me okay, and you can hear everybody else in the chat. I'll go through quickly again. I've just asked Rosie about Davey about what went wrong against Stoke City. Davey saying we just couldn't score. I mean, he's got to take some criticism. Miyenda though, Davey. I mean, that should have been at least work the keeper, for goodness sake.
He's got to score that goal. Like, I don't know what he was trying to do. He didn't need to do out. He just needed to just think it. Just put his head on it properly, and he moved his whole body towards it, and it was just so awkward.
If you look at his position, because that cross was perfect.
Perfect.
Absolutely perfect, available. He wasn't even facing the right way. It's like his body was square to where he was heading it to.
Yes, he was square on, and he just headed it straight.
Straight, aye.
But he was facing the corner flag.
Yeah, he should have been had his body twisted, so therefore all he has to do is just flick his head.
Right, because the pace was on the cross. All he had to do was direct it towards the goal, and it would have flew in.
Yep.
It's as if he didn't understand what he's got to do.
I don't know. That's
he can't play on Wednesdays, Cabbie. He could get destroyed, couldn't he?
Oh, he will do. Let us know if you can hear us now a bit better, Jim. I'm getting a different microphone connected tomorrow, so hopefully that'll be all right. Rosie, what do you reckon about Miyenda? Because last time we were speaking, we were saying when he missed the sitter, not so much of a sitter against Blackburn, we've got to lay off the lad. I mean, what do you think? Do you think that's unexcusable, that miss against Stoke?
It it's just becoming constantly. Obviously, the first time he does it, you're gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, but it's just constant, like every single game, and something needs changing. Like me, in the January transfer window, we definitely need to invest in some players, especially for the players what's injured, like get replacements. I know it's going to be hard, but we need to do something.
Right.
Newcastle scored already against Man U.
Oh, you're joking.
It's checking for a possible offside. So we'll see how that goes.
They're terrible, Man U, aren't they?
Newcastle will beat them.
Are you seeing who's in midfield for Man U?
And the goal stands. I don't know. No, who's midfield for Man U?
Casemiro and Ericsson.
Really?
Some legs, aren't they?
Oof, freaking hell.
They're not built to live with Newcastle, not in the slightest.
It looks like the goal stands. Isaac scores it.
Yeah, that's clearly on the side.
Well, Man U are the. Do you know? I laugh when both get beat, but you know, I do find it funny when Man U lose. Like,
no, oh, that's terrible.
Anyway,
what did you think about yesterday, then, Cabbie?
Me, I thought Stoke City were really, really bad. I just thought, you know, there was no bounce back because they got rid of their manager. I just thought they were really, really poor. And I was just tearing whatever strands of hair I've got left. The fact, like, we weren't scoring goals. Stoke City had glimpses of possession, but, you know, and their keeper just turns into Gordon Banks against Sunderland. He's a hell of a keeper, him.
He always has done. Even when he played for Rotherham.
Aye, absolute quality keeper. But why did he start Miyenda? And he's getting criticised for that starting line at Regis Labrie.
I couldn't understand that one because they said Roberts was left out because he had a bit of a like a strain. But then again, he was on the bench and he come on. Surely that's more dodgy, isn't it?
Well, it is. Yeah, I mean, the only reason that I'm sort of not going as harsh on Sunderland really is because of the fact that the amount of injuries we've got. I mean, you know, to lose Rig was like the last straw that brought the camel's back. I mean, we're on the bare bones of our backsides. Apart from O'Sheesh, which I thought he didn't do too bad. There was times where I thought he could have crossed the ball. And he kept shooting and...
Can I give you my opinion on the O'Sheesh?
Yep.
He's lovely to watch, right?
Yep.
He's got it all, right? He's got everything. He's lovely to watch. But there's no end product of him. Ever.
No.
His shots are poor, aren't they?
Bit like Duncan Watmore. Run, doing a lot of stuff.
He loses the ball a lot. He's got no, like, strength in him at all.
No.
The goal came from him and Connolly losing the ball on the wing.
No. Was 09 was involved in that as well, giving the ball away, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, he was centre off, but them two were on the wing and they both lost it and the winger got past them. Connolly never touched the ball in the 16 minutes he was on.
What do you reckon, Rosie?
For me, I just thought that it was just a complete shambles yesterday. It just felt like there was no proper commitment from the team. It felt like they'd all gone to sleep. And then when Cannon scored, that was just the final nail in the coffin.
He took his goal well, man, Cannon. It was a hell of a strike.
That's something we can't do, strike a ball like that.
No, on the rare occasions the likes of Serkin's done it and Neil's done it. But
there's another thing. What's happened to him, Cabbie?
Yes, a lot of Sunderland fans I've been reading was saying like since
he's not the same player since he's come back.
He's not the same player since he's come back at all. No.
Nah.
It's I don't know. It's.
And I mean, how did the referee miss that penalty?
Well, that's why I think we need VAR in the Championship, is whether you like it or loathe it or not. But I just thought it's. You what, Rosie?
Because I was watching highlights last night, and it was the clear and obvious penalty.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt.
I mean, we've still got to score it, and knowing that keep, he'd probably save it with his big toe or something. Do you know what I mean? You've still got to put the ball in the back of the net. But if we had scored, no. I mean, look, I mean, you can sort of understand now, can't you, why Regis the Brave doesn't really want to touch his bench, because, you know, I just think the majority of that bench is Division 1 at best. Honestly, I mean, nice lads. Of course, they'll be nice lads. Connolly, like you say, O'Sheath, Roosin, and the rest on there. I just don't think they're nowhere near to cut the mustard for the Championship, and it's shown like mad. It's shown like mad now.
One thing is they're not robust enough either.
No, they're not. They're absolutely not.
Leeds have got loads of little players, but they're all robust and strong.
I watched them against Derby County, Dave, and it wasn't easy, but they got the job done. They got that goal, and it was a lovely move. It was quick passing in the 18-yard area. They split the defence open. They got that chance, and they put it away. Mm-hmm. And we just didn't.
Like me, for that, Elisic, he didn't do much yesterday.
Good point, Rosie. What do you think about Elisic, David? Do you think did he do much for you?
I mean, not robust enough for that league.
Yeah. And
just knocked off the ball all the time because they're not strong enough.
Ever since we've lost Mundell, one by one, as the weeks have gone by, the months have gone by, each and every one of the players are just starting to drop like flies. And we've been here so many times before, we haven't got any strength and depth. We end up on the bare bones of our backsides, and then we end up having to play with the under-21s, virtually the whole team. And I now know how Burnley felt when we played them, and they had so many injuries. They were just a shell on what they are now. To me, we are that Burnley at the beginning of the season, because we're just like a patchwork quilt. We've got no backbone. We've got no in the midfield. We've got nobody to make runs. We're not dangerous going forward. And
he's a big miss, Mundell, isn't he?
Oh, a huge miss. I mean,
he's the exact type of player that we need at the minute. Robust, dangerous, and can score a goal.
Oh, yeah.
Mundell's a miss, Watson's a miss, and Riggs a miss.
Oh, when I heard that Rigg was injured, I thought, oh my God, because I mean, you can't expect Job to do that, run the midfield all on his own, and like you do need a few of your players together. And I think Job, Neil, and I think Rigg together, I think are the really dangerous. You take any of them missing links out, would just not us off as much, are we?
We've had to change the shape since Rigg went out. I mean, we didn't play three in the middle now. We've ended up Al-Sheikh's playing left. Well, he's not a left winger, man.
No.
Can't have gone past anybody.
And it's not good enough. If you want to challenge for the top two, it's nowhere near good enough for that squad we've got. And if this isn't a message for Speakman or KLD to say, well, how... if this isn't evidence that the fact like he needs some experienced players, we need strength, because you can't avoid injuries. You know what I'm saying? And this is the advantage what the Burnleys and the Sheffield Uniteds and the Leeds have got. They've got the more strength in depth when they get their injuries. And
you've got Burnley and Leeds, Cabbie.
Yes.
They've got like 20, 30 million pound players on the bench.
Yep.
on the bench. Our whole team's not worth that.
No, they're not.
Do you think Miyenda would get on the bench for Leeds or Burnley? He wouldn't even get on the bench, would he?
He wouldn't even get on the bus, Dave.
Nah.
Loads of fans. Sorry, Rosie, carry on.
Like last night, I watched Burnley and Middlesbrough game.
Yeah.
And it was just like a different kettle of fish.
Loads of.
You could tell that there was a lot of urgency there.
Loads of fans have been, venting their frustration as well at the fact, like, it's an absolute joke. At the summer transfer window, we've signed literally 3 players that are injured, and that's inexcusable. That is just bad business. I mean, I know we all know why we're doing it, because of on the cheap, but that has to stop now. If surely God, Speakman must have known about these 2 players. The fact, like, yeah, you can have these players, but they're not going to be ready until 5 months down the line. Then why the hell say, well, welcome on board? He should have seen the white flag, the red flag, and just says, right, next, please. What does he expect bringing players injured? Which team signs injured players that are out for 6 months? And loads of Sunderland fans are starting to kick off about that. Like,
yeah, you may as well have waited until January and brought them in.
Yep, and there's still no sign of Davey, is there?
Nah, well, you can add him to the other 2 who's never played. Really, he's never played.
Yeah. So they've got to take some criticism for that. I mean, you cannot sign injured players. I mean, fair enough if they're going to be a couple of weeks or something till the toenail grows back. But
Pavetta got injured the other day on the bench. He never even played, and he was injured for the next game. He was only on the bench.
It's a joke. It's an absolute joke, and it's that's why the fans are starting to really, like, sort of kick off now, because of the fact, like, this is starting to bite us in the backside now. This is the harm of signing players that are injured. I mean, does still anybody know what's the matter with the other 2? That's that Abdul Samad and all. Did we sign him with a broken leg or a ripped tendon? What was it?
Well, Samad was supposed to be a muscle injury, but it would be 2 or 3 weeks. And
Muscle injury?
The other lad signed and then went straight under the knife. And he's due back in January. And Pavetta, I don't know what's wrong with him. He's just kind of player.
So that Abdullah is a knock injury. And Abdul Samid is a knock injury as well.
It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm just grabbing a drink of water. Just have a chat amongst yourselves. I'll be only 20 seconds or so.
So, what do you think that needs to be changed for the Sheffield United game on the?
Miyenda kind of play, like, but we're limited to any changes because we haven't got any depth. We've got anybody else. It'll be the same team. I think it'll be the same team apart from Roberts will be in for Miyenda. That'll be to me. That'll be the only change.
Yeah, like I say, I was reading earlier that Chris Rigg, his injury isn't as bad as the fight was.
It's only going to be a couple of weeks. It's only bruising, but you're still talking a couple of weeks.
I know that he'll be missed for the Sheffield United game, and then probably Stoke in the cup, Burnley, and then I think we play Portsmouth before Burnley.
Play Portsmouth next week. Play Portsmouth before Stoke.
That's going to attract. Newcastle's gone 2-0 up.
Oh, God.
Well, they've certainly improved, Man U, since sacking their manager, haven't they?
Jesus Christ.
You know, I know it's the tune, but I still think it's equally funny. Man United getting beat again. Like, I don't know why. I find it funny, but I just do.
No, they're a shambles of a club, aren't they?
Oh, I think we'd give them a run for the money, wouldn't we? I think Miyenda would score a hat-trick against Man U.
Joe and Lynn. It was Joe
they're like us when we were plummeting down the Championship, aren't they? They've got nowhere to turn.
Because Manchester United, they've just got a new manager, that Amon or something.
Oh, such an easy goal for that. They're going to put about 4 or 5 past Man U, I think, today. Today. Anyway, I'm going to go have a catch up on some of the messages, if you didn't mind.
I get the messages on.
John Nesbitt says, evening lads. Kingfisher says, hey guys, please like and subscribe. Cabbie, your volume is spot on, thank you. Kingfisher. John Nesbitt says, Davey, better players than him have missed chances like that. Give the lad a break on about Miyenda. I think it doesn't help the situation that it's twice on the trot. He's missed sitters, isn't it? That's not going to help him, is it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm all for giving all the players a break, but time's running out. You need to start scoring goals, otherwise we'll not even make the playoffs. It's as simple as that. You've got to score goals.
Yes, and a lot of the podcasts have been saying that the fact that, well, Sunderland are all right, they've still got a cushion, we're still in 4th, 7 points or so, but that 7 points is nothing. If you lose the next 2 and the teams below you win the next 2, all of a sudden you're a point ahead.
And all the time you're not scoring, your confidence is getting lower and lower.
Which seems to be happening already.
Yeah, it's only natural. It's a natural instinct.
As John Nesbitt says, give the lad a break. I mean, I think what Miyenda didn't do himself any justice was the fact, he didn't even make the keeper work. I mean, if he'd have got that on target and the keeper made a hell of a save, you'd say, oh, unlucky Miyenda, good effort, but that was embarrassing, that was. How he...
Cabbie, if he'd headed it out with a bar, wouldn't have been as bad.
No.
But the fact he didn't head it towards the goal, you've got no chance.
I mean, these are professional footballers, and at the end of the day, there's no excuse to put it that wide. It's like, to me, that just tells me, didn't let him anywhere near the first team again.
Yeah. He's frozen,
he's frozen.
Confidence so low. You're not doing the kid any favours by keep playing him week in, week out. He must be. He's suffering himself. I think if they leave him out on Wednesday, he'll say to himself, thank God for that.
Aye. And you'll not get a bigger game, because that stadium will be full on New Year's night.
Right.
And can you imagine?
We'll need to take our chances. We'll not get 20-odd chances on Wednesday night like we did on yesterday.
Well, where's the goals going to come from against Sheffield United?
Well, I think there's only Easter Dock and get them.
Crikey. Robbie Hopkins, hello Robbie, you alright mate? He says, no one to replace him. He says, that's the problem. SJ is in the house. He says, I'm still cheesed off now. What a chance. We've blown the top 2. He reckons we'll get beat off Sheffield United, and I've put a poll on my YouTube page, and it's last time I checked it, there was 59% says that there was a defeat on the way. John Nesbitt says, give over 09, the golden boy was to blame for the goal. He says, he has moved on in the summer. He has to be moved on in the summer. Far too many mistakes week in, week out. What do you reckon to that then? Time for, John Nesbitt says, time for 09 to move on. Rosie, what do you reckon?
At the end of the day, it's not just one player, it's the whole team. You can't just say that it's one player, because there's been quite a few times where all of the Sunderland players have made mistakes. It wasn't just O'Neill who made the mistake to lead up to their goal yesterday for Stoke. It was about 3 players what made mistakes, not just O'Neill.
What do you reckon, Davey? Because, I mean, I know I'm a massive fan of 09, and I know Davey is.
09, and I think it's unfair to label it all the blame on him, because I remember loads of last-ditch tackles he's made in the last couple of games.
Yeah.
Saved goals. He gets us on the front foot. He gets us moving forward. I mean, I don't think Meckem's had 2 good games, the last 2 good games. Well, I wouldn't slate him, because he's been excellent for us.
What do you think's causing this
last minute switch off and letting goals in. I mean, can we not take the... We always seem to have the ball peppering around the 18-yard area with just minutes left. I mean, why can't we take it to the corner flag, get the ball away from our danger area? But it always seems to be, at the minute, the last few minutes of a match, the ball's bobbling around in our box.
Because we should be 2 or 3 up in these games, so then it wouldn't matter, would it?
Wait, no, it wouldn't. Of course it wouldn't.
That's the solution. We're having enough chances to score 2 or 3 goals before they get to the end of the game where they're going to bomb people on.
Because that was a cracking finish from Cannon, but the build up to that, it was a massive shambles. Now I don't know who was it that had the ball, but he had plenty time to pass it to another Sunderland player, and it's like they did a Miyenda special, the froze, and they just got dispossessed. It was like we should not have been anywhere near in that position. We could have easily passed ourselves out of trouble there. It's like the whole team, the confidence shot to bits. I mean, surely it can't be helping the fact of all these injuries and stuff. And it's Dennis Cirkin maybe he's thinking, well, what can I do with this, with the crap that's getting put on this pitch now, with the likes of Miyenda and O'Shea's and that? You just don't know. Maybe Dennis Cirkin just can't play his normal game with a weakened squad the way it is.
That's another thing. Certain he gets no help of O'Shea's because he doesn't track back O'Shea's. Never does.
No.
He doesn't track back like Paddy Roberts does, or Watson does, Mundell does. They all track back and help Certain out. That's how he was so good in the beginning of the season. But yet, O'Shea's will not track back. Nowhere.
Just an update on the scores in the Premier League. It's Aston Villa 1, Brighton 1, and Ipswich 1, Chelsea 0.
Chelsea 0. I can't see that staying the same, but you never know.
No.
Keep turning my head, and every time I turn the head, Man United are under the cosh against Newcastle, and Newcastle's got a corner again. It's like, and very nearly a third there. The corner, straight from the corner. You keep parried it onto the crossbar. Gary Hoyle, hello Gary. He says, Stoke were average, and we were brought down to their level. He says, there was no ambition to tear them apart. Post-Xmas blues, he reckons. It was just so negative. Do you think too much Christmas turkey they've had our Christmas?
I think we've got a big lack of confidence at the moment, which comes from missing chance after chance after chance.
Aye.
It zaps the confidence out of the whole team, doesn't it?
Well, we had a team that was gelling, didn't we? We had that circuit board that was all connected. We haven't got that circuit board connection now because of all the missing players we've got.
The ball's all over the place, man.
Yeah, we haven't got that floor. We haven't got that high press, that intensity.
There's no float of our game at all.
No. I mean, against Stoke, we're lucky if we made about 7 or 8 passes together. But
they brought us down to that level, like.
Well,
the officials didn't help because they just allow players to. I mean, Stoke's always been the same.
Yeah.
They'll kick you off the field rather than play you off the field. And Stoke's always been like that.
Oh, absolutely. How there wasn't a red card on their half, I don't know.
I'm saying that Berger must have committed about 15 fouls and still never got booked.
I don't know how the referee missed that penalty because it was a blatant pull on his shirt. But what amazes me is why didn't any of the Sunderland players protest?
I know, not one did that.
Look what happened.
Clear as day.
Look what happened when we got a player sent off against Sheffield United. They surrounded that referee, wouldn't leave him alone until he produced that red card. We're just making his job 10 times easier by not even raising an eyebrow and saying, "Well, that was a bit naughty."
Yeah.
You've got to be a bit nasty as well. You've got to be like that, and I just don't know what's going on. I really didn't. SJ says the amount of chances we had, we should have put the game to bed before they scored. Just not good enough. David Joblin says, good evening, everybody. Evening to you, David. SJ says, you know fine well we won't make signings until a week before the deadline. He says it'll be loans and foreign 15-year-old strikers need to invest properly. Well, if we get more 15-year-old strikers, then we'll be lucky to hang on to the playoffs.
We've got to sign players that's up to start like now. Like I met them, like I said on the radio tonight. We need 3 or 4 Mackem signings where they're ready to go, the experience and go straight in the team. Need good buying young ones where it takes them a month to settle down because they've got to learn the language. That is not what we need.
No, it's not good enough. I mean, it just goes to show you how important it is. I mean, look what happens when we've signed Mackem, right? Straight away, he stood out like a sore thumb, didn't he? The experience he's got. Straight away, the Sunderland fans thought, wow, he's quality. I'm like, because this is what happens when you buy an experienced player. Now, imagine having that up front. Do you know what I mean?
But just a quick one on transfer. It says here that Sunderland could reignite interest in Leon attacker Gift Orban in January after he's been handed a £8 million market value.
Really?
Well, that's who we bid 15 million for in the summer, but he didn't come.
Yeah, you have to wonder why. Newcastle just had a third goal disallowed.
Oh.
Lovely goal by Isaac. He was about 10 foot offside. Isaac, like. And another things as well of the fact, like, you know, when you see like the likes of Tommy Watson when he first comes on, you could tell there was something there.
Yeah. When
you look at the likes of O'Shea's and Alesic, Connolly, Pavida, you don't get that, do you?
No.
You didn't get that. Miyenda, you didn't get that sort of, this is a good player. This is a good player. We best hang on to this lad. You didn't get that. Even with Alesic.
Probably I'd rather be behind that Ogunsui on for 10 minutes than Connolly for 10 minutes.
Yeah. As much as I like Connolly as a person, I just, like I said, I don't think he's cuts the mustard for what we need to keep up in the top half of the table, the top 4 of the table. Sorry, like.
No.
But what did Connolly do when he came on?
No, he never touched the ball.
Never touched the ball. Well, why not? You got to ask yourself. It's only Stoke, Connolly. I mean, well, why hasn't he touched the ball? I mean, he's brought on to make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
He
looks overweight now to me.
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He looks overweight. So does Pavida.
Yep.
So, match stats from yesterday. Stoke, they had 10 shots, 3 on target, 45% possession, 287 passes. Sunderland, 19 shots, 6 on target, and 55% possession with 341 passes. And we still get beat. That is just absolutely shambolic.
I see, Rosie, it just goes to show you the most important stat of all is the goals, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But since we've lost Stewart, we've still been crying out for that striker because Isadore's not prolific enough. He scores some cracking goals. Love the lad to bits, but he's not prolific enough to keep the goals coming enough to keep us in touch, knocking on the door of the top 2. You know, he'll get a goal and then you won't hear from him for 3 or 4 or 5 games. That's not prolific enough.
He's the type of striker, Cabbie, who should be playing an hour and then coming off and a one as good going on, or he should be on the bench and coming on for the last half an hour.
Yeah, totally agree.
We get it centre forward and we'll flog him to death.
Yeah, he's just on his own up there, Davey.
Aye, he's running all hour, flogging himself, and there's got nobody on the bench to come in like the other teams are bringing internationals on.
Of course they are. What did the who was on the panel of Total Sport tonight then?
Who what?
Who was on the panel of Total Sport tonight representing Sunderland?
Marco.
Was it Marco? What did he say to your response then, Davey? What did he say, Marco?
Totally agreed with us. He says like we need some more Mackem signings who's ready to go and in the team, and the club need to sort some more players out. Either spend some money or get some Premier League loans in who are fit and have been playing.
They've got to stop getting these Eastern Europeans in, having the 17, 18-year-olds and stuff. That's got to just like how.
They'll not spend any money, Cabbie, this January. They'll not. They'll get a loan in. I think they'll get a Premier League loan in.
You think they'll get a loan in January?
You know, like somebody, I don't know who, mind you, because centre forwards are like gold dust, aren't they? Nobody wants to lose centre forwards. Not a one that's scoring anyway.
A few Sunderland fans are saying they should get Miyenda out on loan, get him some experience, get him sent out to a Division 1 side, maybe get his confidence up a little bit. But
that doesn't do us any favours at the minute, does it?
Well, no, it doesn't. This is what we're saying, but like, it's here, there, and now. Mm-hmm. You know, when was the last time? When was the last time? Can you say Sunderland had a really dangerous bench that you weren't worried when a player got injured or 3 players got injured? You thought, oh, we're all right, we can fetch these on.
No, we haven't.
We haven't, have we?
No. We've only had one strike in the last 3 or 4 years, man. That was Ross Stewart.
John Nesbitt says, Man, you were atrocious playing like a Division 1 side. David Joblin, back to the messages again, says Sunderland lack experience. Yeah, that's all about the balances, and the scales are way tipped at the minute of not experience, put this way. Andrew Moore, hello Andrew, says, but don't forget, Leeds and Burnley were Prem teams way more recently than we were. Well, of course, yeah. They're more likely to still have stronger squads. I mean, look, you're always going to have that problem, and until the day, if it ever happens, that they stop the parachute payments, right? Yeah. It's going to happen every single year. I mean, let's say the bottom 3 are now Ipswich, Leicester.
It'll come down this season, and they'll be the strongest teams next season.
Yeah, they'll walk the division next season. Southampton, they're on, what is it, 6 points or something at the minute? They've only won 1 game, that was against Everton. You wouldn't be surprised if they were walking the Championship next season.
Right.
And that gap is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Basically, it's getting harder for established Championship sides to compete with the top 3.
Yeah.
Are you with me? I mean, unless I'm wrong, like, but I'm beginning to notice every season, as the seasons get on, the teams just seem to be running away with it easier and easier every season.
Yeah. The only team that's booked the trend in the last so many years is Luton.
Yep. And
they went up without any parachute payments. We finished above parachute payment teams and got in the Premier. And that's what Sunderland's trying to do this season. But we need some help, like, at the minute. The squad's too thin.
I'm just reading a post what James Copley has put on Twitter about Miyenda. He's put, his 19-man done well this season in multiple positions. Yeah, he didn't finish the game for us today, but there's a player there. Amazing work to even be in that position. Should have scored, but give him a break.
Oh, well, I mean, I disagree with him what he's saying there. He should have got it on target. No one's saying scored, but he should at least, a professional football player with a perfect cross like that should have got that on target. I mean, that's not a good advert for himself. I mean, it must have been 7 or 8 yards wide. It was absolutely hideous. He's not doing himself any favours for the fans to get confidence in him, like, but can you see a good player in him there? Well, at the minute, I cannot.
No.
Can only say what you see, innit?
He looks totally devoid of confidence, doesn't he? Even when he's on the wing, he doesn't seem confident enough to go past anybody.
He doesn't.
No.
Let's catch up on some more messages. SJ says parachute payments should be either scrapped or reduced because it's the same teams yo-yoing between the leagues. Those teams are always going to be up there promotion ready. It's a really unfair advantage for the rest of the side teams in the Championship. I mean, has he got a point? Is it unfair, these parachute payments? Why should you get money for getting relegated?
And it does sound unfair, doesn't it?
Do you know what I mean?
Because you can't even try and compete with them, even if you had a rich owner, because the fair play rules stop you putting the money in.
They do. And not just about the parachute payments as well. They've had, whether you like it or not, they've had that experience in the Premier League as well.
Yeah.
So they've upped the game. It's like when you're on a computer game and you go on the hardest level, and then you come back down a level. You think, oh Christ, this is easier again. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Does anybody know how much you get for parachute payments? And does every team get exactly the same amount when they get relegated? Is it the bottom team gets more or the second team gets less?
You get so much, didn't you, for the next 3 years or something? That's wrong, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but why? You've been relegated. You've been relegated.
Aye.
I mean, I'm all for it getting promoted. You get an influx of cash because you do, didn't you? It's massive amounts. But to get relegated, it just doesn't make sense at all.
What are you saying, Cabbie? It's not a level playing field, is it?
It's not. Like I say, a lot of the Sunderland fans have been having a crack on with and that saying, oh, it'd be great again in the Premier League. I wouldn't be too bothered if we get trounced every week because the parachute payments will be great. Well, is that right? To just be focused on the parachute payments? To hell, we're getting hammered every week as long as we get parachute payments when we get relegated. It's not right, is it?
No.
Gary Hoyle says if Speakman can't see where these problems lie, he shouldn't be in the job. He's a liability, and a few fans have said that, especially with the injured players that he's signed for the in the summer transfer window. It's just not acceptable. We can sort of see at the light at the end of the tunnel at the end of the season. You can see it.
Have you noticed, Cabbie? When we were winning every week at the beginning of the season.
Yep.
He was on loads of podcasts. He was doing interviews on the side of their training ground. You never heard from them the last month, have you?
Good point. It seems to me when
it happens every season. Every season.
When somebody turns up the gas cooker, the temperature rises. He sort of squabbles into his rabbit hole, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He disappears. Because I remember you, Dave, used to always go on about this. Where's the people in the ivory towers? When we were last season.
When we plummeted last season, we went from 6th to 16th and not a word from them. Not a whisper.
Yeah. It's almost like, oh, we're world beaters at the minute. I want to take credit for it. Let's get on these podcasts and let's have a big crack on.
Yeah, that was him.
You should be doing the same now. You should be coming on, addressing the fans and, you should be saying things like the fact, like, yeah, well, I do think we're right. We are on the bare bones of our backsides. We will be looking to strengthen, getting some experienced players. That's what we want to hear.
Right.
Just a quick one. It was announced 10 hours ago that Alex Neil is a Millwall manager.
Aye.
He only wanted to go to Stoke because it was nearer home.
He'd be there about 3 months.
Remember when he said he's going to Stoke because he wants to be near home? So he's going to Millwall.
Full of crap, man, aren't they?
Aye. I still think...
He wants to hope he has a good start, because I tell you what, you didn't want Millwall fans turning against you.
Oh, nowhere near, do you, crikey. Hey, I still like Alex Neil for what he did for Sunderland.
Aye.
I'll not forget that. Whatever happened, he's whether you were at the game or not, he's give us a fantastic day to remember, whether you were at the game or not, and he.
The last manager again in the studio, Total Sport.
Yes, good point.
I remember ringing up and asking him a question.
Got to say good evening to William Babbitt. Good evening to Pixel Rich. Good evening to Bong. Got more people coming in. God, there's loads of messages calling in. I can't keep up with these.
Get them out.
Gary Hoyle, yeah, he says Ipswich 1, Chelsea 0. Is that still the case? Is Ipswich still leading Chelsea? I don't know.
Yeah,
they are.
It's still 1-0 at half time.
Who scored for them? Was it Clark?
No, he's on the bench. On the bench.
Oh, he's on the bench. You'll have a lot of split.
Did lap with a penalty.
To lap. You'll have a lot of splinters, Jack Clark, sitting on that bench, won't he?
Right.
Hey, we're missing him on when you think of it. Like, imagine him down that left against Stoke. there's times where you can say, "Oh, we're not missing him because we've got Mundle," but
they should. What Ipswich should have done was sign them, but give us them back on loan because they haven't used them anyway.
no, I mean that's not helping Jack Clark's game, is it?
No, not at all.
Well, like I say, money talks, doesn't it? He's probably rather be doing that sitting on the bench than scoring a handful of goals for Sunderland. Now he could have been a local hero this season so far. He doesn't know, do you?
No.
Andrew Moore says, and sadly we all know clubs are business first and foremost now. SJ says, problem is Miyenda's confidence will be shot to bits now, and that's what Davey and Rosie have said.
Yeah.
Jim Nesbitt says, Man U against Newcastle is one of those games where I wish both teams would lose. I know where you're coming from. Leroy, hello Leroy, you alright mate? It says, Miyenda will be out the side soon as Mundle and Watson are back. We are desperate for the Samed Salas now as well. What a joke of a signing that has been so far. And yeah, like I say, I read the forums and the podcasts and stuff, and they're all starting to pipe up with this for what's going on. John Smiles, hello. John Smiles says, wouldn't be surprised if Regis plays Miyenda on Wednesday. I think he cannot know. Like I say, give it, I can see you a shot. Do you know what I mean?
Well, at least put him on the bench was the thought of bringing him on, but you could just tell he was never going to bring him on Saturday, yesterday.
Well, I don't know. He'll start getting criticised of Reece. Like if he starts Miyenda again on Wednesday, once he's looking at against Sheffield United. William Babbitt says, I was so surprised to see that your lads conceded right after I left the chat. Oh yeah, William Babbitt. Are you? I can't remember. Do you support Stoke or is it? I think it's Leeds you support, William, isn't it? Got a few good friends of the channel coming in, often supporting, Leeds fans. They're good lads, eh?
Yeah.
And they often come and they would like to see Sunderland going up with Leeds. And this is what some of the Leeds fans are saying. But unfortunately, I think we're starting to lose grip of the top two. Give Cabbie and the guys are like, thanks Kingfisher. Gary Hoyle says, Miyenda is a good under-21s player, but when it comes to the first team, he's out of his depth. And that's what we've said. SJ, I thought Mundle was 2 weeks away from coming back. 2 bloody weeks ago, he says, it's a permanent 2 weeks roll in recovery. That's what it seems to be. John Nesbitt says, only 2 players on that pitch would walk off that pitch with their heads head up. And that was Ashish and Dan Neil. So, but like I say, we're saying like, oh, Ashish, he had a good game, but he's got the end product. A bit like the Roadrunner.
Yeah, there's no end product.
A bit like Duncan Watmore, he ran and ran and ran, but he was always running into brick walls, wasn't he?
I know.
I'm just reading here, Sunderland have missed 66.6% of big chances created in their last 2 games, where they have ultimately dropped 4 points as a result of this.
It is. And Rosie, this has been going on for years. Especially we've just not replaced Stewart. You know what? This is what happens. The amount that we've just got no experience up front at all, and this is what happens, doesn't it? It just tells. Mm-hmm. It's I don't know if you look back on that Miyenda miss against Stoke. Watch the reaction of the Sunderland fans because it was directly right in front of them. It's like every single one of them synchronised had the heads, the hands on their heads. They just could not believe what they'd just seen then. Like, and of course the Stoke City fans, they were all ironically cheering, wouldn't they? Which they would.
No.
Andrew Moore says Kieran Trippier just almost scored directly from a corner. Yep, that would have been the third. John Nesbitt says SJ and Sam are supposed to be back at the end of December. Speakman is to blame for this shambles. He has to be moved out. This model is a load of sugar. Kingfisher says, for me, it all comes down to experience. They just need to sign some heavy hitters. So, loads of messages, so hope you didn't mind trying to get through these.
Oh, no, I like to read the messages.
Telly says, Meehan's in 35k a week, FFS. We can't get many of these guys. SJ, who says Meffam is on 35k a week? And even if he is, do you really think we are paying that? John Nesbitt says, bloody hell, Man U making the Geordies look like Real Madrid. Man U would make us look like Real Madrid, I think.
No.
Elbong says, 1 defeat in 5. Why the negativity, people? He says, we still have players coming back from injury. He says, we still have a quality team, even though small. He says, a couple of signings in January should calm everyone down. Has he got a point? Bong saying,
I mean, a couple of signings could make a world of difference because we have got some players.
Why do you think such the frustration with the Sunderland fans in at the minute? Because it's 1 defeat in 17 games. Why such negativity around the fans?
Right, they'll always be the same, won't they?
It's a results business, isn't it?
It's exactly that.
And I think we're seeing how poor Stoke City were. You know what I mean? And it was like, you could see it sort of coming, can't you? And like you coming out the games and stuff like, how the hell did we lose that? It's like, well, simple. They scored 1 goal, we couldn't. That's just the science behind it, is there?
That goal Stoke scored should have been a consolation.
Of course it should have done.
It was our fault that it wasn't. Because they weren't like half chances, they were good chances.
Yeah. It's so frustrating.
I mean, that one, Isidore at the post, he should have smashed it in.
He should have smashed it in the back of the net, shouldn't he?
Why, aye. That was shooting shocking.
It's terrible.
It just feels like they got to their feet.
But what are they doing in training? You know, when we go to work for 8 hours a day, they're like training, aren't they? It's like, well, what exactly? I'd like to know how they're training. What are they doing? Andrew Moore says, Gary Neville, you're watching the worst pound-for-pound football team in the country, no question. Pastor Alex is in the house. He says, hello. Oh, Pastor. SJ says, a Prem loan. He says, you are right, Davey. Like a Gelhardt or a Burstow loan.
No, not young boys.
Not young boys.
Loan.
Yeah. Pastor Alex says, sorry I'm late. I've just welcomed my 9th newborn child into my family.
Well done, son.
9th, did you say there?
He must have sent his telly back.
He must have sent his telly back, aye. God's sake.
The one person who I haven't heard you mention tonight is Colin Major.
Yeah, he might be about. There's that many messages I'm trying to rattle through. It's crazy. John Nesbitt says Sky is running the championship. The FA have to do something about this. It's a major problem. Yeah, well, it is, because I mean, it's getting less and less every season. Sunderland kicking off at 3 o'clock on a Saturday. They're getting they're getting less and less, aren't they? We're playing more Sunday kickoffs, Friday kickoffs.
Probably.
Yeah.
It'll be the same forever because money talks.
Money talks. Yeah.
They get more viewers for Sunderland games than any other team in the championship.
Big club, big supported club. There's always something going on at Sunderland. The Sky wants to see us. Kingfisher says, congrats, Pastor. Thank you, Kingfisher, says Pastor. Jim N says, I agree with Copley. He says, Miyenda is only 19 with lots of promise. He says, and would normally be appearing as a sub if we had enough options. But he's playing full games out of position. He's a keeper.
Whose fault's that?
Well, yeah, whose fault's that? Absolutely. Why are we in this position? Why aren't we learning?
Lack of depth.
Yep. But like I say, we've been saying this even when we're in Division 1. Lack of depth.
Mm-hmm.
John, SJ says, John, these parachute payments have to stop to have any impact. John Nesbitt says they get £20 million every year for 3 years for the parachute payments. Yeah, Jim, being in the Prem hasn't helped Luton. Andrew Moore says most recently they've got an average of 33 million per club per year for 3 years. John Nesbitt says SJ, yeah, I agree with the parachute payments, they're a joke. SJ says hasn't helped Luton, Jim, because they're putting it towards a new stadium. Pixel Rich says thinking that Speakman is going to come under fire soon again. Crocked signings, etc. But hey, we are Sunderland. A lifetime of more lows than highs, says Pixel Rich. Please like and subscribe, says Kingfisher. I've never had so many messages. This is crazy.
And it's nearly finished.
Aye. Just got to. I want to try and get every message read. The viewers, people watching, they're important.
Yeah.
I thought Alesic, says Jim, says had a decent game. He'll need a few more to get used to pace and physicality. Serbs are tough, and he looks about 26 rather than 19. Mackem on a mission. Hello, Mackem. He says we won't get his appearance fee from Ipswich for Clark. He saw 18 million turns into 13 for his total fee. Pastor Alex says I need to get my new child a new top. Keep the faith, Sunderland 3, Sheffield United 1. David Joblin, what are you smoking? 3-1 Sunderland. Dave says good lad. Miyenda hat-trick. Gary Hoyle says why can't Speakman and the hierarchy see our failings when it's so obvious to us lot? Well,
they couldn't see them last season.
They can see it. That's why they're hiding, innit?
You just don't want to invest any money into the solutions.
SJ says because we're close to going up, we've seen what our team are capable of. That's why our fans are frustrated. The bar's been raised, hasn't it? And it's like we want to keep this going.
Good point.
We're better than being beat at Stoke. I mean, well, yeah, this is what happens, isn't it? It's like we've raised the bar for ourselves. Our expectations are high, and you've got to be beating teams like Stoke. I didn't care. I mean, I know Blackburn lost against Hull, and that was a stinking result for them.
Right.
But that's why Blackburn also aren't in the top 2, because like us, they keep having stupid results like that.
But getting back to the Sheffield United game, if we can beat them on Wednesday, the whole position and whole picture looks so different.
Can you really see that happening with the weakened squad we've got?
Well, I know what you mean, but Sheffield United's got problems and all. They've got a weak team.
They've got a few out, haven't they?
Oh, big style, aye. That Harmer should be out because he should have been sent off.
That's right. It's got 4 more messages to read. SJ says because we're so close to. Oh, no, sorry. John Nesbitt says it's simple, Cabbie. We can all see the performances getting worse every week. And just a month ago, we were 5 points clear of these parachute teams. Kevin Ware says, hello Kevin, unable to get the disco sorted to join you tonight. I will join you on Friday, guys. Bring some positivity to the panel. Well, you're welcome, mate. Is Joblin being on the drink with a 3-1 win, says SJ. Jim N says, we're still 4th in the league. It's disappointing because of an amazing start. But if we had been other way around, we'd have been over the moon. We have time yet, he says, and I think Sunderland will spend in January. Pixelovich says, serious question, perhaps for later show. Is promotion possible this season? John Nesbitt says, ifs and buts, Davey. SJ says, how are we going to beat Sheffield United with this team? Impossible. Pixel, promotion. It's as long as we're in the top 6, the promotion's on. It's as simple as that. So we're quickly going on to Sheffield United. Rosie, what do you reckon's going to happen? Predictions. Get your predictions in on the chat as well. What you reckon's going to happen against Sheffield United?
Me, I'm not going to be optimistic. I'm going to say that we're going to get beat 1-0. I'm not optimistic, especially the last time we played Sheffield in the bogey team like if we play poor like we did against Stoke and all the other teams, we're gonna get beat.
Fair dues. So you're going to go for a score? Did you give a score? I didn't quite get it.
In going 1-0.
You said 1-0 Sheffield United. Davey, what you reckon's going to happen?
Yeah. I'll go 2-0 Sunderland. I think we'll get an early goal by Isidore, and then we'll get one in the second half. When they're trying to push on, we'll break away, and Joe will get a second one.
Oh, Kingfisher says 1-0 Sunderland. SJ says first defeat at home. I'm going for 4-0. There you go, it says John. What am I going for? Oof, crikey. I know what my head says. I know what my heart says. I reckon Sheffield's going to do us 2-0, I'm afraid. I think.
Oh, get him off!
Get him off. I just think, even though they've got injuries, they've got a hell of a lot more than what we've got with our depleted squad. Our confidence is shot to bits at the minute. And I just can't see us.
It will be tough, like.
It'll be tough. Look, I hope I'm wrong. Of course I am.
Yeah.
But I was confident I said would beat Stoke 3-1. That backfired. So I'm going to go with what my head's saying. I think Sheffield United have just got more in us. Pixel Ritual says 2-1 Sunderland. We can't keep a clean sheet. Andrew Moore says 2-0 win. Job and Dan Neil. John Nesbitt says Cabbie, that's disgraceful. 1-0 Miyenda, says John Smiles. So there we go. It's 9 o'clock. Look, that's fluent tonight.
See you on Friday, Cabbie. See you later, Rosie.
Don't drink too much Prosecco, Davey.
Again.
See you later, fella. Rosie, thanks a lot for popping on, pet.
All right. Have a lovely evening.
Have a lovely evening.
See you on Friday.
Yeah, have a cracking New Year, and we'll see you Friday. Thanks a lot, pet. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Bye. And there we go. Thanks everybody for tuning in. It's been really good as always. Thanks for all your predictions and whatnot. John Nesbitt says, oh yeah, Sunderland 2 Blades 2, says Gary Hoyle. Thanks for the stream, guys. You're welcome. A Pixel Rich says, great show again, lads. See you Friday. Yeah, thank you for tuning in. And yeah, well, who knows what can happen with this team of ours. Until then, we'll catch you on Friday. Have a cracking night. Ta-ra.